Today, we're diving into one of the most jaw-dropping, unbelievable glow-ups in American history. A boy born in a tiny log cabin. No money. No privilege. Barely any schooling. And yet, he rose to save an entire nation. This is the insane true story of Abraham Lincoln, the president who held a crumbling America together and ended one of the darkest chapters in human history. Grab your snacks. This one feels like a Netflix documentary. Our story begins in 1809 in a one-room log cabin in Kentucky. No fancy floors, no glass windows, not even basic furniture. Just a hard-working family living on the edge of the American frontier. Lincoln grew up dirt poor, like patch dash the dash holes, dash and dash your dash shoes dash yourself. Poor. But young Abe had one thing money can't buy, a fire for learning. He read anything he could get his hands on. Bible stories, fables, law books, even scraps of newspapers. At night, he studied by the light of a fireplace, because paper was too expensive. That hunger for knowledge? It would one day change the entire nation. When Abe was just 9 years old, his mother died suddenly from milk sickness. Lincoln later said this loss cut him deeper than almost anything else in life. Thankfully, his stepmother, Sarah Bush Lincoln, stepped in like an angel. She encouraged him to read, learn, and dream bigger than anyone else in the family ever had. She later said, "Abe was the best boy I ever saw." Her love became one of the greatest shaping forces in his life. Lincoln's childhood was far from easy. He chopped wood, plowed fields, carried water, and built fences. This earned him his early nickname, the Rail Splitter. But at age 19, everything changed. He traveled by flatboat down the Mississippi River to New Orleans, and there he saw the horrifying reality of slavery firsthand. Families being sold, people treated like objects, cruelty in the open. The sight burned into his soul, and it would stay with him forever. Lincoln eventually moved to New Salem, Illinois, and worked as a store clerk. One day, he accidentally overcharged a customer by a few cents. He walked miles to return the change. That story spread everywhere, and the nickname stuck. Honest Abe. He became known for telling funny stories, helping neighbors, solving disputes, and speaking with a kind of simple wisdom people trusted. Behind the scenes, he kept reading and teaching himself law, piece by piece. At 23 years old, Lincoln ran for the Illinois legislature. He lost, badly. But instead of throwing in the towel, he doubled down. He studied harder, improved his speaking, joined debates, and built relationships. By 1834, he ran again. And this time, he won. He served 4 terms, pushed for roads, education, fair laws, and slowly built a reputation as a thoughtful, reasonable, honest leader. In 1836, he passed the bar exam and became a lawyer, even though he never attended a single law school class. Grind, dedication, focus. That was Abe. By the 1850s, America was a powder keg. The North said slavery was wrong. The South insisted they needed it. New states joining the Union caused fights and even violence. Then came the Kansas-Nebraska Act, basically saying, new states can choose slavery if they want. Lincoln was done. He stepped back into politics like a firestorm, warning, a house divided against itself cannot stand. People listened. In 1858, Lincoln ran for the U.S. Senate against the powerful Stephen Douglas. Their debates became legendary. Douglas spoke like a polished politician. Lincoln spoke like a man of the people, raw, honest, and real. He said no man has the right to own another. He spoke about justice, equality, and the soul of America. He lost the Senate race, but won the nation's attention. A star was rising. In 1860, the Republican Party nominated him for president. His message? He wouldn't end slavery in the South, but he would stop it from spreading. The South hated that. The North admired it. Lincoln won the election without a single Southern vote. The country exploded. Southern states seceded, forming the Confederate States of America. And before Lincoln even took office, America was already tearing apart. On April 12, 1861, Confederate cannons fired on Fort Sumter. War. Brutal, bloody, unforgiving war. Lincoln had almost no military experience, but he learned fast. He fired weak generals, pushed stronger ones, and worked tirelessly day and night. He visited wounded soldiers, wrote to grieving families, and carried the weight of the nation on his shoulders. But through it all, he never lost sight of the bigger fight, the fight for human freedom. On January 1, 1863, Lincoln signed the document that changed America forever, the Emancipation Proclamation. It declared enslaved people in rebel states to be free. Did it free everyone instantly? No, but morally, spiritually, politically, it turned the war into a battle for human rights. Now the Union fought not only to save the country, but to give every person dignity. In 1865, after 4 years of unimaginable sacrifice, the Confederacy surrendered. The Union was saved. Slavery was ended by the 13th Amendment. America took a breath. Finally, peace. But Lincoln would never see that future. Just 5 days after victory, he was shot at Ford's Theater. He died the next morning. The entire nation broke into tears. A man born in a log cabin, a man who taught himself to read, a man who believed in honesty, justice, and equality, had saved the United States. His legacy lives forever in the words, "Government of the people, by the people, for the people." Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.